Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to seriously upgrade your English. We're moving beyond simple words and learning how to talk about problems and risks with some real power and precision. So, if you want to be more persuasive in your next debate, or maybe just sound sharper in a presentation, this one's definitely for you. Okay, look at this. On one side, you could say, this is a big problem. Yeah, it gets the point across, but it's kind of flat, right? Now, what if you said, we've hit some serious turbulence? Whoa, can you feel that difference? The second phrase, it uses this amazing metaphor to paint a really vivid picture of instability and a huge challenge, and that's exactly the kind of upgrade we're going for today. All right, let's start at the beginning. Picture this. You're working on a new project. Everything's going pretty smoothly at first, but then you start to see these small things, little issues that aren't a crisis, not yet anyway, but they're a warning sign. So, how do you talk about this really early stage? So, instead of just saying, there are some small problems, try this one out. Little pockets of concern are popping up. This phrase is perfect. It just captures that feeling of small, scattered issues that are just starting to surface. It suggests they're not one giant problem, at least not yet. The key word here is pockets. I mean, think about it. Pockets are small, separate little containers, right? So when you use this phrase, you're suggesting the problems are, for now, isolated and contained. It's a really subtle but powerful way to hint that something bigger might be brewing under the surface. So you've got these pockets of concern. What happens when one of them suddenly gets noticed? Maybe an important client brings it up or it gets mentioned in a big meeting. All of a sudden, people are talking. For that exact moment, you can say this. The word stir is just perfect here. Imagine dropping a little stone into a totally calm lake. It creates all these ripples that just spread outwards. Well, this phrase captures that exact same feeling. A single, small event causing this wave of conversation and worry. It's really the first sign that a small problem is starting to get bigger. Okay, so a small problem has now caused a bit of a stir. But what happens when those pockets of concern don't get fixed? Well, they start to connect. One problem starts to trigger another, creating a chain reaction. And this is where things can get truly dangerous. Now we're at a really crucial point. You need the right language to capture this kind of domino effect, where one little failure threatens to bring down the entire system. So how do you express that with some real impact? This sequence right here tells such a powerful story. It starts with just one small problem, but then notice that key verb. It could cascade, and that leads to a much, much bigger consequence. It could pull the entire index down. And the final, devastating impact? It could wipe out savings. That's a truly frightening progression. Let's really focus on that word cascade. It immediately makes you think of a waterfall, right? Water just tumbling downwards, gaining speed, totally unstoppable. So when you say a problem cascades, you're describing a rapid, downward, and completely out of control chain reaction. It's an incredibly effective word. And it happened. The cascade happened. Those little pockets of concern have totally exploded. The dominoes have all fallen. You're not looking at a potential problem anymore. You are smack in the middle of a full-scale crisis. The whole situation is unstable, and everybody knows it. And here we are, back to that powerful opening phrase. This is how you announce that the crisis is here. You're not predicting it, you are in it. This phrase communicates urgency and difficulty all in one really memorable metaphor. The turbulence metaphor is so powerful because it's a feeling we all understand. We all know that shaking feeling on an airplane, that instability, that lack of control, the anxiety. So using this phrase instantly transfers all of those emotions to whatever business or project problem you're trying to describe. So every crisis has consequences, and a lot of the time they're financial. But what about when the costs aren't just big, but they're so huge that they're hard to even wrap your head around? You're going to need a word that goes way beyond large. The word you're looking for is astronomical. I mean, it relates to the study of stars and galaxies. We're talking distances so vast that they're almost impossible for our brains to process. So when you call costs astronomical, you're saying they're completely off the charts, just unbelievably high. It's pure impact. Okay, so after the crisis hits, the analysis begins. This final phrase is such a sophisticated way to identify a root cause. It suggests that one group was completely blind to a fundamental reality that another group understood all along. It really points to that core oversight that led to the whole disaster. So we've followed a problem, all the way from a tiny little spark to a raging fire. And we've learned some really powerful phrases for each step along the way. Now, let's put all of these expressions together into a practical toolkit that you can start using right away. This is it. This is your toolkit for describing problems with power. You can now spot those early pockets of concern and the stir they might cause. You can warn people that a situation could cascade and lead to serious turbulence with astronomical costs. These are your new tools. Use them. So the big question is, how are you going to put this into practice? Because, knowledge is pretty useless until you actually apply it. I want you to choose just one phrase from this list. Seriously, just one. And promise yourself you're going to use it in your next English discussion. So, which one is it going to be? Pick it, practice it, and really feel the difference it makes.